This video is writing a linear function given indicated values. What we give you is two functions that are evaluated. If you remember, when you evaluate a function, what you sub in is your domain, and what you get out is your range. So let's identify these ordered pairs. So -3, -8. And over here, we have 1 and 2. So we could come over and graph it and identify that this is a linear function. So we'd have -3, -8, and over 1 up 2. And we'd have our graph. What we want to do is come up with what the function is. So if you remember linear equations, the most popular equation that we like is slope-intercept form y equals mx plus b. In function notation, it's f of x equals mx plus b. What we need to find out is the two things, the slope and the y-intercept. So let's start with the slope. So if you remember slope, it's y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So let's go ahead and substitute those things in. So 2 minus -8 over 1 minus -3. All these become positive, plus symbols, because negative turns to a positive. So now you have 10 over 4, which reduces to 5 halves, or 2.5. The other thing we need to identify is the b. What is the y-intercept? You probably can see it from the graph. It looks like it's about -1. We're going to use our equation, our slope-intercept form equation, and we're going to substitute one of the points. I'm just going to choose this point here, and then our slope that we just found. And we're going to plug it into this equation and solve it for b. So y equals mx plus b. We're going to let the point be 1, 2, and then the slope either 2.5 or 5 halves. You choose which one you want. So we're going to substitute it in. This is your x and your y. So we're going to substitute y in for 2. The slope of 5 halves, and then our x is 1. And now we're going to solve it for b. So 2 equals 5 halves times 2 is 5 halves. Now we'll subtract 5 halves from both sides. 2 minus 5 halves equals b. And I want you to get comfortable with fractions, so I'm going to go ahead and want to change my denominator in this 2 to be the same denominator as my 5 halves. So I have to increase the numerator and the denominator by 2. So that becomes 4 halves. If you want to reduce it back, it becomes 2. So now 4 halves minus 5 halves is -1 half. There is your y-intercept. So now as an equation, in slope-intercept form, our slope was 5 halves. Our y-intercept is -1 half. Now that is as an equation, but we want to write it as a function. So we're just going to replace that y with f of x. And now we have our answer.